What is life? It's a question so deceptively simple that it seems like the kind of thing a child might ask, perhaps while staring at a blade of grass or a passing cloud. But the closer you look, the slipperier the question becomes. What sets apart a breathing, pulsating organism from an unfeeling rock or a lifeless machine? Is it movement, growth, awareness, and, most intriguingly, can we ever truly pin down the essence of life in a way that satisfies both science and philosophy? This question has mesmerized humans for centuries, from ancient philosophers pondering the soul to modern biologists examining the tiniest cells under microscopes. And today, it's our turn to dive into the mystery. Together, we'll explore not just what life is, but what it means to be alive in every sense of the word, biologically, psychologically, and existentially. Now, let's take this question apart, piece by piece, by weaving through the extraordinary threads of biology, the poetic musings of philosophy, and the practical wisdom of psychology. Ready? Let's jump in. Let's start with the cell, the tiny, miraculous building block of all living things. Imagine this: you, me, every animal, every towering redwood, and every microscopic bacterium, either single cells or intricate communities of cells working together. It's mind-boggling, isn't it? Cells are so small that millions could fit on the head of a pin, yet they carry within them the entire blueprint for life. Cells are alive because they grow, divide, and reproduce. But here's the twist. Not all cells are the same. Take yeast, for example. I know yeast sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry. It's the thing we use to make bread rise and beer bubble, right? But yeast, my friend, is a rock star in the biological world. It has taught us profound truths about life itself. Here's a fun story. Scientists once discovered that a specific human gene could replace a yeast gene responsible for cell division. Yes, you heard that right. This humble fungus, so seemingly different from us, shares ancient, foundational mechanisms with humans. This revelation connected us to a common ancestor from over 1 billion years ago. Suddenly, the boundaries between species blur, and we see the shared thread of life woven through every organism. But life doesn't stop at cells. To truly understand life, we must journey into the swirling, invisible world of genes. Imagine Gregor Mendel, a monk in the 19th century, standing in a quiet garden, carefully crossbreeding pea plants. His meticulous experiments with peas, yes, those small green balls you push to the side of your plate, laid the groundwork for our modern understanding of genetics. Mendel uncovered patterns, ratios even, in how traits like color and shape passed from one generation to the next. These patterns hinted at tiny, unseen particles of inheritance, what we now call genes. Genes are like a library of instructions written in a molecular alphabet, and every living thing carries its own unique library. Now, let's pause for a moment to reflect. Don't genes remind you of the choices and habits we carry through life? In psychology, we often talk about mental blueprints, the thought patterns, and emotional tendencies we inherit from family or develop over time. Just as genes influence our biology, these mental scripts shape our lives. But here's the exciting part. Just as evolution rewrites genes through adaptation, we can rewrite our mental blueprints through self-awareness and change. Life, after all, isn't just about surviving, it's about evolving. Speaking of evolution, let's tip our hats to Charles Darwin. His idea of natural selection was, and still is, one of the most elegant explanations of life's diversity. Imagine Darwin aboard the HMS Beagle, collecting specimens and filling notebooks with observations. He realized that hereditary differences, tiny variations between individuals, could lead to profound changes over generations. This idea shattered the notion of life as static. Instead, life became a dynamic, ever-changing tapestry. Here's where it gets philosophical. Evolution, at its core, is about adaptation. But isn't that also what we strive for psychologically? In a fast-paced, ever-changing world, our mental survival often depends on our ability to adapt, whether it's navigating a career shift, mending a relationship, or simply finding joy amidst chaos. Darwin's principle of survival of the fittest isn't just about biology. It's a metaphor for resilience and growth in every aspect of life. Now, let's dive into the chemistry of life. Life is, quite literally, a chemical dance. Inside every cell, thousands of reactions occur every second, transforming raw materials into energy, building blocks, and signals. It's like a bustling city with proteins as construction workers, enzymes as traffic controllers, and DNA as the mayor's office issuing orders. Here's the jaw-dropping part. All this activity happens in spaces so small they make grains of sand look colossal. Cells are masters of efficiency, compartmentalizing tasks to ensure harmony. And isn't that what we strive for psychologically? To compartmentalize the chaos of daily life, to find balance amidst competing demands. The chemistry of life offers a blueprint not just for survival, but for thriving. But life isn't just chemistry, it's also information. DNA, that iconic double helix, is more than a molecule. It's a digital storage device holding the instructions for building and maintaining life. Think of it as the ultimate hard drive, capable of storing billions of gigabytes of data in a single gram. Yet, DNA isn't static. It's constantly being read, rewritten, and interpreted by the cell, adapting to the needs of the moment. This interplay of information mirrors the psychological principle of feedback loops. In life as in cells, feedback is essential. When we succeed, we reinforce behaviors that led to success. When we stumble, we adjust our course. Whether it's a cell managing its energy levels or a person navigating relationships, life is about sensing, responding, and adapting. Now, if we put all these pieces together, the cell, the gene, evolution, chemistry, and information, we start to see the contours of life. At its core, life is a bounded entity, a system of chemistry and information that grows, evolves, and adapts. But life is more than mechanics. It's purpose. It's the drive to thrive, to improve, to find meaning in existence. And that brings us to the most profound question of all. Not just what is life, but what makes life worth living. This is where biology meets philosophy and psychology. For some, meaning comes from connection, building relationships, creating art, or pursuing dreams. For others, it's about curiosity, the thrill of discovery, or the quiet satisfaction of a life well lived. So where does that leave us? Perhaps the true essence of life lies not in defining it, but in experiencing it, in cherishing its fleeting moments, its joys, its challenges, and its mysteries. Remember, life is not just something we observe, it's something we live. So go out there, embrace its mysteries, and make it extraordinary. See you next time.